Yes,
Well,
David.
you managed to make the camera work this week, did you?
I did. I did. Had to change house and everything.
That's the job. Well, I suppose we have about five. We have a few now in at the moment, anyway. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the second DNSports Live GAA Podcast. This is obviously the second one from a couple of weeks ago between myself and Dan. Um, where we were talking about the preview for the semi-finals. We got the final we were looking for anyway. I don't know. Now we'll be talking by the end of this live, but sure, look, we'll just have to wait and see. But how are you doing anyway, Kieran? How are you?
Yeah, all good. All good. Had a chance to preview the few of the games at the weekend, hurling especially, and then break down where I can see where Donegal do well and Kerry do well. So, how about yourself?
Ah, yeah, geez, yeah, no, I suppose the first thing to look at really is kind of a bit of a recap of the hurling from yesterday. Geez, Cork just fell off a hill.
Some game. I think Cork had it when they went in at half time. I thought they would have kicked on. I thought they would actually start slow. I thought it would be the opposite way about. They'd start slow and then come strong, with the pressure. I sort of felt like they had to win that one. It's been that long. They'd have to win it. But they just got shot, really. Just a shot to the system.
Yeah, I think just like as you said, kind of going in 6 points up at half time, I kind of thought it was fairly done now myself. I thought that Tip would want to put in some serious second half to get over him, but geez, they did blow him out of the water in the end, but they probably didn't need to do much when Cork only scored 2 points in the entirety of the second half.
I know why, but it was very much the dirty ball that was won. Like there was a ball there, I think it was Mike Breen, the cornerback.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he intercepts someone and he dives on it and he picks it up and he hands it off to McCarthy. McCarthy sticks it over. Like that's what you want from your team in an All Ireland final day is to dive for the team. But that fight wasn't there after the goal went in for Tip. Like
Yeah, no, they completely they just like as you said, the fight was just there from Tip in the second half. They really, I suppose, kind of Cork were kind of I don't know, they just seemed to kind of come out in the second half and just go, I suppose our lads just play the same way and we'll be all right kind of thing. Whereas Tip definitely had a lot more fire in their bellies going out in that second half, and it showed because they were absolutely fantastic.
but even at the end of the first half, I don't know if you've seen it going down the tunnel
Yeah,
and it like it sort of you haven't won it yet. Like we're still
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Giving them nudging and we're still here. Like and then come out and then to have that second half performance is it's unbelievable. Like, I haven't seen something like it. Like to be that dominant in the second half is madness. Like
I don't think I've ever seen any sort of a hurling game, whether it's a local junior league game, that I've seen that one team only score 2 points in the second half. Never mind in a an All Ireland final. I just couldn't believe how badly Cork played in the second half.
no, I think the real question is how Cork comes back from this. I guess there's two other finals in a row. You know, they,
Yeah, yeah. I think I suppose it kind of came out as well this morning that they weren't doing their homecoming this evening. I thought that was a bit of a disgrace. What do you make of it yourself?
nah, I'm probably in the same boat as you. Like there's fans there. There's fans that would have travelled up and down the country to watch them play. Like there's always going to be a loser in the day of an All final. Like, but there's memories there that they would have give young children or whatever to you know. Yes, they lost, but there's always has to be a loser in the day. Like it's not doesn't take any part of the journey. That season that they went on, they still had a great season. Like
Yeah, I just think you watched the coverage yesterday, and when they had the aerial shot over Croke Park, there was probably out of the 80 plus thousand, so you had about a good 65 in good 65,000 of Cork inside there, like, and I just think this not even doing a homecoming for their fans, especially who kind of went up to Dublin and paid their money to support them, and look, I think I suppose Kerry, like we've all we've won a few All Irelands, like, but in recent years
oh,
we've lost a good few as well. So
mm,
it's always nice to go into homecoming kind of on the Monday evening, like after, even if they lose or win or whatever. It's always a nice thing to do. But yeah, I found it very strange that they decided not to go with it anyway.
I've been in the same boat. But what did you think of John McGrath's goal?
Oh Jesus, it was fucking insane.
Unbelievable.
It was pure skill. Like it was just I think like the penalty was a rifle, like, but that was just like, I suppose I saw it on Twitter earlier on, and it was like a fish just leaping up out of the water. Like it was unbelievable how he leapt up and fucking tapped it
They
in.
even have that coordination, like you're running at full speed to get on the end of that, like, and they have that awareness to just deflect it past,
Yeah, yeah.
unbelievable skill.
I think like I suppose like a lot of people would see it now, and maybe a few football heads might look at it and go, "Geez, sure, that's not that hard. He just had to get the he just had to get the hurley onset, like, and that's all he needs to do." But it's like a volley in soccer, really. Like you just have to have that skill to be able to do it. But no, it was some finish.
Serious.
Well, I suppose going on from the hurling now, anyway, we might as well look at the the big one
Fit the
coming up
war,
on
David.
Sunday. Yeah, we'll get on now to the real All Ireland, I suppose. Um, look back at the semi-finals anyway first. I was lucky enough to go to the two of them, thanks to yourselves in Robert Emmett. But which team do you reckon will, I suppose, know more about the other going into the semi-final or the final on Sunday?
I think it's a hard one. Like I know you look at the Meath game and you say Meath played Kerry and they beat Kerry, but I think it's very this new game is it's nearly like boxing. Different styles make different fights. Different. It's a different game altogether. Like you can't go and say we beat Meath by this amount. Oh, it's going to be the same against Kerry. Like it's different. It's a whole different game. Like I know Meath as well. They were missing their players. I know Kerry were missing players in that game, so it's very hard to read into that one. Um, but I feeling there like McGuinness. He wouldn't want the same to happen. What happened in 14? Like rumours there took the eye off the ball after the Dublin game, the big shock one in 14, and then
Mm.
took the eye off the ball against Kerry. I don't think he'd do that again.
That sounds like you know what's gonna happen. So,
No. Hopefully he doesn't take his eye off the ball this time.
yeah, yeah. I think kind of looking at it really, like I think I said it to yourselves after the game that I asked you, I genuinely don't know. Like watching Donegal against me, it was very hard to take anything out of that because just Donegal just swept him aside like it was a friendly. Do you know what I mean? They've kind of put in a Tipperary second half performance, you could say.
Uh, I do think the one in the game I was thinking about, and I was looking up a couple of stats on it because it is going to go down to the wire. The small percentages it will go down to. Like, and I was looking at kickouts, and I think that's a big thing for both teams. And Donegal actually do better on their own kick out, and Kerry's the opposite. They like to push up on the other kick out. They don't have the greatest percentage on their own. Now, in fairness, when I was looking at it, they seem to do better on opposition. So that'll be interesting to see what they do with Sean Pattons, because if Donegal have this plan that sometimes they like to go short and sometimes they like to go to Murphy. Sometimes they go to Hugh McFadden and maybe some ones on the run. But that'll be interesting to see with Kerry. Will they still use this pushing up on them? Because Patton does have a fair bit
Mm.
to to skip that press. Like, so it'll be interesting to see what way does Kerry approach it. Do they go halfway house and they have better pushing up and keeping the big men around the middle? It'll be interesting to see now.
Yeah, I think especially like for even I suppose Shane Ryan's kickouts, like Shane Ryan always likes to kind of go, I suppose, mostly short. He likes to kind of he definitely likes the man to kind of come towards him. Obviously, with the new rules and not being able to go into the arc and all that kind of stuff, it kind of puts him out a bit. But um, he needs players going in space, and I think against Tyrone, watching it, there was too many occasions where I kind of saw um lads weren't urgent enough in kind of making that space for their own kick out. Whereas I think Donegal are going to be alert to that, just as probably Tyrone were in the semi final. And it's the kickouts for me. I think personally is actually the biggest factor in the game.
No, I'd agree on that. Like the matchups, I was looking down at the matchups. I can see like Joe Connor being on with Hugh McFadden. I think you will take him on your kickouts, and I could see Joe Connor maybe going on, maybe trying to get on Murphy maybe for ours. But I think Hugh McFadden will be given that job to try to stop Joe. Like they stop him dominating around that midfield. Like
That's actually another thing that I was going to come on with. Yeah, so you think it'll be him so against Joe O'Connor?
I
I
think
was
Hugh
kind of
McFadden.
I was thinking Langan. Like I think Langan and Joe O'Connor would be some battle like in
There'll be
midfield. They
some
have to be.
battle. Hugh McFadden does a lot of dirty work that some people don't see.
Mm.
Like he took up I'm trying to think, is it Morton, the midfielder for Meath before he came off, and then he picked up Conor Gray then,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody would have thought that Langham would have took up Conor Gray, like, but Hugh McFadden, he's just a monster in there, really. He's brilliant at what he does. Like he breaks the ball for a lot of the play, like for us, and I think he'll have a big part to play now in the final.
Yeah, even kind of talking about, I suppose, the midfielders there was kind of, I don't know, and I was talking to Dan a couple of weeks ago, like we were talking about Michael Langan and how unbelievable he has been this year, but Joe O'Connor as well has been out of the ordinary. I think I've never seen a GA player come back better from an ACL injury.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like the one thing I do like about him is the tackle he does. He always gets around and pops around the far side. He probably does it about 3 or 4 times a game.
Yeah.
He wins so much. He gets so many turnovers. Like, and it's nice. Sometimes he's not playing everywhere. Like sometimes you see him down and he's in the full back line. He's turning someone over, and then the next minute he's up kicking it, getting the end of a score. Like, so he has been brilliant. It'll be interesting now to see what midfield gets on top of who. Like it's going to be Kerry will have their patch where they're going to be the team, and then Donegal will have their patch. I don't think it's going to be battle. I do think there'll be patches, be swinging each side. Like a big game that you don't know where it's going to end up when the final whistle goes. Like
Yeah, I kind of going on now to, I suppose, other kind of key factors. I suppose David Clifford, and I know we'll talk about Michael Murphy now soon. But geez, 1-9 against Tyrone. Like,
what? See,
is there
shooting
going to be
like
anybody to actually stop him? Do you think?
I think I don't think it'll be a one man thing. I don't think Donegal will go out and just say right, everyone's going to shut down. I don't think they'll play two on him. Um, Even I think you might have noticed yourself, like we were in the Davin stand there for the Donegal game, and they still are very zonal. Like Brendan McCall took up Charlie Morris. I think McCall will go on Clifford, but I don't think Clifford will have the same space. That the space to go in. Like if you go in the physical battle with Clifford, he's too he's too skillful and he's too strong. He's powerful. And as I think it was James Dunn who said he plays like he's 5'9" and he's 6'3". So I don't think you can get physical with him. I think you do just have to cut out the space with him. Like and I think McCall's gonna be the man that's will probably be told to go with him. Like that's about it. The rest do their own job.
Yeah, I kind of I was saying it, I suppose, after the semi final and talking to a few people about it, like, and I said if he plays the same way, and it's not kind of a biased kind of thing, but it's coming at it from literally just being completely honest. If he does play like that day against Tyrone, against Donegal, I genuinely can only see one result because he is too. When he's in that form, it's a bit like the final in 22 against Galway when himself and Shane Walsh had the kick out basically between the two sides. He
Mm.
was on fire that day and won Kerry the All Ireland that year. I just think when he's on top form, I just think he's too hard to stop. But as you said, the zonal marking is going to be massive in that.
Like I looked back and On that question, you're thinking, right, if they do stop Clifford or they limit him to a certain amount of scores, like it's inevitable that he's going to score. Like he's going to score, and that's it. Like you're not going to stop him to zero. Like,
Mm.
um, but I was looking. It was interesting to see. Laura once we were saying Donegal have a lot more scores. Their attacks across the board, they probably have more scores. Like
Mm.
Donegal had 12 against Meath. And Kerry actually had 8 against Tyrone. But the big portion of it comes from Clifford. Like I looked there, I think Sean O'Shea got 3, Paddy got 2, and David got 1 9. So you're 114 out of 120 is coming from 3 players. That's a big chunk of. Then when you flip it to Donegal, like you have Connor Donald got 1 3, Gallen got 1 2, and Murphy got 6. So you still have another what 115 to count up there from Donegal. They're from the rest of their full forward line. Like so.
What did Shane O'Donnell get against Meath?
Shane, I think he got 2 or 3 points. 3 points maybe.
Yeah, that's it again. Yeah, you are right. There's a lot more of a kind of, I
There's a
suppose,
spread.
scoring presence in the Donegal team. Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see. Like I do think like a lot of Kerry scores come from quick breaks, quick couple of kicks down the field, and there's space to play. Like, but that's coming from the opposition having poor shooting. Like, the amount of times Jerome are kicking it and they're dropping short, or it's not finishing. The move's not finishing, or they're getting turned over. They're too slow. I don't think Donegal will be doing that. Like, I think they'll be. If they do miss, they'll be going wide. Like, they'll be going dead. I don't think they'll give Kerry too many opportunities to come straight back at them with the presence that they have up front. Like, it'd be criminal to do it. Like,
Yeah, I think one thing I suppose that was noticed massively against Tyrone was that Kerry, I think in the first half in particular, it was a close enough game. I think they were up by 4 points at half time, but it was still a lot closer than the scoreboard, I suppose, rate. But um, I think in the first half, Kerry hit the post twice. One of them was from a 2 point position, one was from a 1 point position, and then they dropped, I think, three shots short. So that's the bones of 6 points there straight away. Like that's game over before halftime even comes. If they do that again against Donegal, like they have to be on point, like from everybody.
that's a good point. In fairness, like, and Tyrone didn't punish Kerry for that.
No.
Like, they went up the pitch and they went slow again. They were very laboured. They didn't had on the break like Kerry. But the two semi-finals were very disappointing. Like, it was very hard to tell where the weak points from both teams were. Like I think Kerry had about eight goal chances in the Tyrone
Yeah,
game, and like they didn't finish them. Like, it's the same with Donegal. Donegal could have had 3 goal chances with Murphy's one. The one had off the post with Hugh McFadden. He hit the keeper. Like, the game could have been done at half time. It probably was done at half time, but it could have been a lot more. Like in both games, like.
yeah. I think both teams are really going to have to just actually make sure their goal chances.
Mm.
It felt like in that first half, especially for Kerry, and maybe later on in the second half when they were really coming away with the game, that they were trying to walk the ball into the goal, and it was very frustrating to watch. I just kept shouting it, like, just either put it over if the option comes up, or else geez, make sure the goal. Like, but it just seemed like they were just trying to pass it into the goal in certain periods of the game. But I just think Donegal are that bit cuter, and they're just, I don't know, they're 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 fearing me a lot now in front of the goal.
No, they're very, very good scoring efficiency, but I was looking at that as well. The scoring efficiency, I think Kerry actually they're just ahead of them. It's very, very close on the shot selection. Do they take the right shot at the right time? I think Kerry just edges that at the moment. Um, but I think the main point is like who's going to take up Murphy?
Oh, uh, I suppose in terms of the fullback, geez, possibly Jason Foley. Um, I wouldn't trust Dylan Bakery on him. Paul Murphy, Paul Murphy maybe. If
He's
we could
looked
bring
into
if we could bring back Aidan O'Mahony maybe out of retirement, like he kept it fierce quiet in 2014, so
uh,
that might be a good one to go with. But I don't know. I think that question is possibly a lot harder than answering the who's going to mark David Clifford. To be fair.
I think with Clifford, he's going to be playing inside. Like he's going to be close to goal, and they're going to try to work it to him. But Murphy he's the centerpiece. Like like everybody thought he'd probably be doing this, the role Clifford's doing, sitting inside and getting that ball, the last ball, and kicking it over the bar. He's not doing that this year. He's out around the middle winning breaks. He's running there everything sort of runs through him. I'd say you sort of seen that last week. He is very vital in the way we play, and it's very hard for a fullback to go out and follow him around the 45. It's very hard. Like so, I don't know on the Kerry point of view. I think that's gonna be a hard battle for them to see how they limit him, because if you don't mark him, he's very hard to stop when he's running at you. Like
Yeah, it's I think, I suppose, I know you're kind of saying he's the centerpiece and all that kind of thing, but if Murphy wasn't playing on Sunday, do you think he'd be as big of a loss to Donegal as Clifford would be to Kerry?
I think in leadership, I think this year, yes, I do think they've it's a hard question. He is the centerpiece in the way they play at the moment, but I think Donegal have more ways of attacking than just Murphy. I think if Kerry took out Clifford, it'd be a very hard game for them to win. Like I think Donegal, yes, Murphy's very strong and we do use him a lot, but I don't think we depend on him as
Mhm.
much. Like as Murphy came, I know the game was won against me, but once he came off, there's a lot of like you had Dara Whale come on, you had Paddy McBurney came on. It didn't look like we were getting weaker. I felt like we were getting stronger as the game went on. Like,
Yeah, I think I was listening to Off the Ball. I think the one they recorded just after the semi-finals,
mm,
or maybe the one just this past week that was brought out. They were kind of saying about the fact that geez, Jim McGuinness has collected basically the best of the best in Donegal, and any one of them, they remind me a bit actually of when Dublin were first coming up in and around. I suppose their kind of few years dominance, maybe around, if you wanted to say 2015 or so.
mm.
Just they kind of look like the team where it was always said like that Dublin subs could probably win the All Ireland. And I'm not saying that Donegal, if they're all their subs were on the field as well, they'd win it. But it just seems like they're going to that place.
They've That's a very talented bench when you look at it. Like you have an All Ireland one player there in Paddy McBurney. Like when he came on, it looked like they went up a gear. Like, and well, I think he got 4 or 5 points, but everything was about a class.
Actually, Dan just commented there, and he said he got 3 points when he came on.
3 points. He got three
Yeah.
points. So he was brilliant. Like the wee dummy and kicking it over the bar, and then even that one was brilliant when he didn't get the ball for the goal. Lang kicked it over, and he's saying you need to give it the right spot. They're it seemed like a very hungry team. Like they're there to do their job, and if their job is coming on the last 10 minutes or 15 minutes, they're happy enough with that, and they'll push on. It's a it's a good place to be. When you have Dara Whale coming on, Time Birdie coming on, who else? Or McFadden Ferry. Jeez, Jason McGee. These guys here, they're brain like they would have started all last year. Like,
Yeah, no, it's just the constant. I suppose all the lads they can rely on. I think there isn't really many players on that Donegal panel that, if they're coming on off the bench, that you're kind of worried about a certain player coming on or anything like that. They all know their job, and
mm,
so far they're doing it all to absolute perfection.
no, I think Kerry too. I think they've trained up their bench. Like what's his name now? The Crooks man, Michael Burns.
Burns, yeah, Michael Burns, yeah.
He's been brilliant the last 2 games he came on. Like he brings that extra bit of pace. He reminds me like what we have with Darrell Whale. He comes
Mm.
on that time where the space opens up, and that's just his time to shine. Like you can see, he just goes into a different gear. Like you
Yeah.
know,
I was kind of looking back now on I suppose the 2014 final, and I probably was telling you about it over the last couple of weeks that I watched it about 2 weeks ago, and my God, it was
shocking.
probably the worst All Ireland I I've ever gone to anyway, and probably I've ever watched. It was dreadful, but there's I think three. It's Micheál Murphy, Paddy McBrearty, and Ryan McHugh are still on the panel for Donegal. I don't think
Yeah,
I'm missing anybody there, am I?
yeah, Paddy, Ryan, Murphy. No, I think you have them all now. But there's a couple there in the backroom team now. You have
Oh
one there
yeah,
with the scars. You have Neil and Colm. You know, even
yeah.
like that.
And you have then you've Paul Murphy then and Paul Ganey. Paul
Will,
Ganey.
will, will he start, Paul Ganey?
I don't think he'll start. I don't think he'll start. I actually, a lot of people are saying that he'll definitely make an appearance or whatever. I don't know. For some reason, I just think if he didn't come on at any stage in the Throne game, and I don't know. I genuinely don't think we'll see him. I think he
Ah,
might he might come on. I'm being genuinely honest, and the reason why I say that is that Tony Brosnan missed the Armagh game, and I think he missed maybe one or two of the uh, round robin games towards the end. With I think it was a hamstring injury. He had some problem anyway, and if either of the two of them was to come on first, I probably would say Paul Gady for the simple fact that he was in the squad for the Armagh game. But Tony came on. There was no sign of Paul Ganey. I don't know. Maybe he
you
needs
trying to hide
that.
the secret, Dave? You trying to hide some secrets that he's not going to?
Here, look, I didn't call up this week at all with the binoculars to go into.
Don't worry, we won't be in any trees this week. Don't worry.
We'll have to
Yeah.
wait and see. There'll be some story, I'm sure. But yeah, I I suppose in terms of talking about them five players, I think Connor Connor said Hugh McFadden, was he in 2014?
Possibly just in the squad.
Ah, yeah. But I suppose in terms of them five or six players, just the longevity by all of them has been unbelievable. I know obviously Murphy took a couple of years out, like, but Jesus, no, the longevity by the five or six of them have been insane to be going on at such a high level for this period of time.
Especially with the new game, like it's not a you can sit back and get your break, and you're only going every couple of minutes. Like it's up and down, full tilt, up and down the pitch. Like it's a completely new game. Like to have the engine to even play them games and even finish out them games is madness.
Yeah, I suppose the long-winded way about going around on about it, talking about the 2014 final is there a fear that this game? I know the new rules. It kind of seems like it's foolproof that the game is going to be an absolute scorcher. But is there any fear at all that this game is going to be just completely drosh?
No, I can't see it being. I think it's going to be a classic game. I think it's going to be probably going to be an all timer. Like you have the McGuinness factor that you know he was made out to be the man that ruined football, and he seems to be the man now that he's changing football. So there's a there's a way there to there's a thing there that if you do get a one here, you're beating the system, you're beating that always kicking the ball. They're putting up scores, and they haven't changed the way they're playing. They still hand pass the ball, still go around there, still take their time, but it works. They're still putting up scores, like they're still outscoring. It's not like they're defending. Yes, they still have a system, but they're scoring more. I think that there will be with Jimmy Gill. I think that'll be a big thing is that if he shows now at the weekend that his way of football is for the better, then I think that's gonna be a point there too. Like,
Someone just said there, whoever kicks the most two-pointers will win the game. Yeah, yeah,
well, in fairness, in the semi-final there was only two. I think on both teams, I think there was only two pointers in the full two games. Um,
yeah, I think so. David Clifford definitely got two, all right. Yeah, I'd say yeah.
so at the 2 pointers, I think they're it's the same with that position. It was so easy to get in for a goal. Kerry went there what 3 or 4 times in a row to try to get a goal. Like, it's the 2 pointer didn't really present itself because they were getting in that much. But Dan makes a good point. Do you think Kerry will, if they did lose, they would have to look at the game plan again? Kicking's the way to go.
Uh, I I I love watching, I suppose, the kick passing game. It's just because it's traditional, I suppose, in a way. The one thing that actually did stand out to me from watching that 2014 final, and even the couple of games of kind of Donegal from I suppose a good few years ago, and even recently, is they're basically doing the three-man weave the whole time. Every time that Donegal have the ball and they're going forward, the quick hand passing is absolutely electric. And I suppose, as Dan said, if Kerry persists with the kick passing for too long, it could. Like I said, I'm probably romanticizing the kick passing a bit too much, really, but it's uh, it's unreal to watch, especially when it goes out well. But it could come back to bite them. It could come back to bite them.
If you're that one-dimensional that you are going to be kicking and that's why, and the ball doesn't stack up there, or there's no space to kick it. Like it's a very hard game for Kerry. If they don't get this kicking game right, because you're going to be forced to run it. I actually wouldn't be surprised. We were trying to kick it, from a Donegal point of view. I wouldn't be surprised that Donegal would actually sit off them and
Mm.
let them take a charge. And filter the space in the forward line. Not let they cut out them passing lanes and making them run it. Because I don't think, when you look at Kerry's defence, the only one you would say that would be comfortable really running with the ball, or you'd have fear, is Gavin White. I think he's electric from the back line. But I can't see Donegal trying to limit them the space to use that kicking game.
Yeah, there was a couple of points there made. I suppose if it's more than likely it's down to be a bad day on Sunday, which, like you say, kind of will more than likely Kerry then will probably be forced then to run with the ball. And say, for example, if ball is being intercepted going to Clifford, is it too late to change to a running game? Well, I wouldn't say that, because I think you're going into an All-Ireland final, you have to kind of plan for every single scenario. So I don't think they'll have one set certain game and stick to it. I think you'll have plan A to Z, basically, really. So
Have you seen on your? I think you've probably went to every game of Kerry now this year. But have you seen a different style of play, except for the kicking game, or has it been that they've persistently kept with the kicking game, even if it's went wrong? Have they have
yeah,
they, have they been able to change it up?
I suppose kind of, well, to be totally honest, from most of the, I suppose, so the games I went to this year, I went to Donegal in the league in the park. Um, I went to the Munster final, the round robin game against Cavan, and obviously the semi final. But the first time that I actually saw Kerry play a decent brand of football was the Armagh game. I don't think many Kerry fans were impressed by Kerry for the majority of the year. Even, I know they won the league, but even they could have been relegated like a week beforehand. The league was just all over the place. But the first game that I really noticed Kerry actually playing a certain kind of decent style was probably that Armagh game. And I think they had a mix of everything that day, really. Well, the main part of that mix being Shawnee O'Shea just
Two
playing.
pointers for fun.
Exactly, yeah. But I suppose from a Donegal point, like, I think that was the Donegal game in the league was the second or third game of the league, and from that game I kind of just saw Donegal as they kicked, I think, two or three 2 pointers that day. Kerry kicked none, and they just seemed to be ahead of the curve. They just seemed to be ahead of the curve at the time, and I think I was fairly certain back then that Donegal would win the All Ireland. I hope they don't though, but I don't know. It's, I suppose, going back to your question, I've seen them play two types of ways this year. I've seen Kerry play absolutely terrible, and I've seen them play brilliantly. I haven't seen
There's no mixture.
it's very it's probably the best answer I can actually give you, to be totally honest.
No, that's the way, like the way I was saying is, you know, when you do have these plans, they like you need to practice them. It's good to say, if this gets shut down, we'll do this. If this gets shut down, we'll do this. You know, you seen there, you seen there with Donegal. Like, I think Donegal have been the good thing about the Ulster Championship. I know Kerry have beaten now two Ulster opponents, but getting them earlier in the year, that, you know, if you do shut down, you have to go to B, you have to go to C, you have to go to D, you have to shut down these players, like, you know, and it builds that team. You know, I don't think Kerry had that early on, you know, and yes, they beat Armagh, but the same day on Armagh, they didn't they when they had their patch, they didn't punish Kerry. You know, they didn't do that, and then Tyrone, sure, the Tyrone game, Kerry were hands down the far better side. They didn't have to resort to B or C's. Like,
Mm.
you know, I don't think they've got as tested as much as Donegal throughout the championship.
No, sure. Look, I know we always have a bit of a laugh and a joke about Ulster football and Munster playing against all the hurlers and all that crack. But like the opposition that Donegal have faced this year is it's chalk and cheese compared to Kerry, realistically.
Mm.
I would love I do like the kind of omen of Kerry winning the All Ireland by beating three of
Three.
the
You're going for the
finalists
set.
would be absolutely unbelievable. It would be unreal to beat
So hopefully
Armagh, Tyrone, and Donegal. But look,
that's another reason why I'm praying for Donegal to win, so I don't have to listen to you saying that for for a year.
yeah, you've a lot on the line now yourselves as well. Like,
Uh,
you
you won't
won't
be
be able
seeing
to
me if
talk
they
about
lose
football.
tonight. If they lose on Sunday, you won't be seeing me after the game. We're going straight home.
I'll come up to Castlefin about 2 weeks later and just see how we're getting on.
No, you're good like that.
I suppose before we wrap it up, I suppose really we've gone for nearly 40 minutes now. It's decent enough. What's your overall prediction?
I think, like, I have to go with Donegal, like, but I do think Donegal might have. I think McGuinness will have a plan, you know, to limit Clifford. I don't think he'll stop him, but I think he'll have a plan to limit him. And I think they probably knew that they were going to come down to this day, like that. You know, Kerry will kick into the gear, and they'll probably most likely face them. Like, when you look back in hindsight of all the teams there's no real team like Kerry. You know, they're the first year of the new rules. It's their game plan. Like, the new rules suit them. Suit their game plan. The kicking game, high scoring, like the best forwards. You know, I can't see Jimmy not thinking that he knew Kerry would be down the line in a couple of weeks' time. Like, so I do think he'll have a plan. And I'd say, if I have to give a score prediction, I'd say probably by about 3 or 4 points. I think it will be tight. I think it'll be tight. Probably
Yeah. Oh
you're gonna
God.
have the Donegal jersey underneath that Kerry one.
No. It's
You
yeah,
have it, you have it hanging out, ironed and ready.
exactly. Yeah. No, I think look, it's definitely going to be a close game. I hope. Um, but I suppose in terms of Donegal, like, I just think Kerry they have to be at 100%. I do think they will be. I do think that they are going to be prepared for any kind of plan that McGuinness has. Um, they kind of Kerry. I know you're going back 11 years, but Kerry got Donegal's game plan down to a T in 2014. Um, I know. Look, many years have gone by.
Was that just stand in front of Durkin and let him chip the ball out to you?
Yeah, exactly. If Patton could do that now for Clifford on Sunday, it'd be great.
No, don't be saying that now.
um, but look, I think Kerry will win. It's a bit like I said it before the game against Tyrone. I think if Kerry win, it'll be by maybe about 4 or 5 points.
It's going to be a swing. Whoever wins, it's going to be a swing of
Yeah,
It
yeah,
won't be seen at the weekend with Tipperary and Cork, but I think we'll go down to the wire. Whatever way it goes, we'll go down to the wire, and maybe Dorothy just edging out then.
yeah. I think, yeah. Look, we'll hope and pray, I suppose, for both of our own counties. Look, I'm sure we'll talk about it both in Dublin. I suppose just before we finish up, Wednesday, Wednesday coming, it was announced there today, 4 o'clock, that we have a special guest on for a live. We have former All Ireland winning captain Fionn Fitzgerald from Kerry. So I know we'll be having many Donegal lads watching in that night. But
His best day was probably my worst day.
exactly, yeah, exactly, yeah.
So
No, it was great to see two Crokes lads, especially up in the Hogan stand, lifting some that day. So look, we're going to be talking to Fionn about his career with Crokes and Kerry, and obviously getting his own predictions as well for the game on Sunday. Ciaran, if there's anything there you want to talk about in terms of deals or in terms of the page and gear and things like that.
yeah, no, 100%. Just to have keep a lookout on the good deals that we're running. We'll have a couple of promotions now in the next week or so. We have two teams now. I'll just wish them the best of luck now. We have two teams that we played for the Fylde Cup. Castle Celtic, our local team, and Lagan Hearts. So they're both winning our game. We've played them this year. So the best of luck to them two teams. So that's everything.
Yeah, so I'd say that that concludes the All Ireland preview. Thanks to anybody who came on this evening. Like I said, make sure and stay tuned in for Wednesday night for the live with Fionn Fitzgerald. And I suppose the last thing I can say, Kieran, is up the kingdom.
No, 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 no. Come on, Jimmy's on the matches, boy.
Jack is back, boy. Jack is back.
Nah.
Right,
Come on, Jimmy.
right, Kieran. Good luck.
Hey, chat to you later.